Have you ever been watching Antiques Roadshow? It's one of those uniquely comforting programs. You settle in maybe with a cup of tea and watch as people bring in their dusty attic treasures, hoping their old vase or great-aunt's painting is a long-lost masterpiece. We live for that moment, the sharp intake of breath from the expert, the slow zoom-in from the camera, and then the big reveal. I'm delighted to tell you, at auction, this would fetch between £50,000 and £80,000. We love the thrill of the hunt, the idea that history can hide incredible monetary value in plain sight. But what happens when that value isn't monetary? What happens when the history hidden inside an object isn't one of artistry or craftsmanship, but of profound human suffering? A rare and incredibly powerful moment on PBS's Antiques Roadshow gave us that answer. It wasn't a moment of shocking, unexpected wealth. It was a moment of shocking, unexpected horror, and it led an expert to do something almost unheard of on the show. He refused to give a valuation. The £3 discovery. The segment started like any other. A guest approached the expert, Ronnie Archer-Morgan, a familiar and respected face on the show. She brought with her a small, unassuming item, an ivory bracelet or bangle, with some text engraved on it. Like many guests, she had a simple story. She'd picked it up at a house sale. She didn't know the history, she didn't know its origin. It just looked interesting. The price? A mere £3, about $4. She, like all of us watching, was likely hoping for a fascinating story and a delightful price tag. Instead, the air in the room changed. Ronnie, an expert who has seen countless objects from history, was visibly wowed, but not in the usual way. He was shocked, he was moved, and he knew he was holding something that transcended the entire premise of the show. He began the valuation process not by discussing its craftsmanship, but by drawing a clear, firm line in the sand. "I want to make it absolutely clear," he said, his voice steady, "that myself and we in the Antiques Roadshow wholly and unequivocally disapprove of the trade in ivory. This is the standard, important disclaimer." But it was what he said next that stopped everyone in their tracks. "But this ivory bangle here," he continued, gesturing to the small object, "is not about trading in ivory. It's about trading in human life. Talk about it we must." You could feel the weight of that sentence. This wasn't just an antique, it was a relic of a nightmare. Ronnie Archer-Morgan, with incredible composure and raw emotion, looked at the guest and the camera and confessed, "It's probably one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to talk about." He paused and then added the crucial words, "But talk about it we must." He described the item as amazing, not for its beauty, but for its historical significance. He then laid out the brutal truth. The bangle was directly linked to the transatlantic slave trade of the 17th and 18th centuries. But what was it? As was later explained by viewers who dug into the history, this wasn't jewelry, it was a tool. It was a form of credential, a token given to African slave traders. Think about that for a second. In the humid, multilingual environment of the West African coast, slave ship captains needed a way to identify the local traders they had established good reputations with. This ivory disc, which wouldn't rot or be easily damaged, was worn or carried by a local slaving enthusiast. It was an introduction, a pass to present to the captain, effectively saying, "I am a trusted partner in the business of selling human beings." It was a piece of administrative equipment for one of the most horrific atrocities in human history. The refusal that spoke volumes. As Ronnie finished explaining the item's dark past, the show arrived at the moment we all wait for, the valuation. This is the climax of every segment. How much is this piece of history worth? Ronnie looked down at the bangle, and his decision was clear. He wouldn't. "I just don't want to value it," he stated simply. The power of that refusal was immense. In a show dedicated to putting a price on the past, this expert was making a profound statement. Some things are beyond price. To assign a monetary value to this object would be to participate, even in a small way, in the grotesque calculus that treated people as cargo. "I do not want to put a price on something that signifies such an awful business," he said. He then redefined what value truly means. The value of this object wasn't in pounds or dollars. The value, he explained, his voice thick with emotion, is in the lessons that this can tell people. The value is in researching this and what we can find out. He turned to the guest, who had brought in this 3 pounds object with no idea of the gravity it held. He didn't admonish her, he thanked her, in one of the most moving lines ever spoken.